All right, welcome everybody to the weekly collective reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, and for those who want to know, Paul is in the background resting. He's a little bit better. Had a tricky couple of days with some health things, but he's doing better. So thanks to all of those who asked. The weekly collective reading is not, we're not there yet. The weekly collective reading is going to comprise a 7-day forecast, an elemental breakdown, and a special topic. And today it's very timely. We're going to do the Aurora, little bit of a call to mythology, talking about that, also what an Aurora is, and it's about beginnings. So I think this is a really great energy here to look at as we're entering into this new month. So let's get started, everybody. Good to see you. All right, we're going to begin first with channel messages, and even before I knew what the special topic was going to be today, I was driving in a car, which as I was doing some research into Aurora, she rode a chariot across the sky, so it made sense. And her siblings were like the sun and the moon, so we'll talk about that. But anyway, let's get into this. Aurora. She is the Roman goddess of dawn. She flew across the sky in a multicolored chariot at the start of each new day, basically to wake everyone up. Her siblings were the sun and the moon, Sol and Luna, because she's a Roman goddess. She represented the liminal space, that in-between space between night and day. So let's talk about that for a second. This moment in time, this 7-day period, which is what each of these weekly readings are about, you may find yourself kind of in the doorway, in that archway that you see in the Ten of Pentacles, for instance, and you're asking yourself, am I done with this? Am I ready to go here? And it's really that sort of decision moment. And that's where a lot of power exists. That's why this is going to be a really important reading today, because we're looking at opportunities. Like the Fool, Aurora is a representation of beginnings. She goes through this ritual every day. She starts a new, fresh, clean slate. So I would encourage you over each of the 7 days, whenever you're listening to this, or if you re-listen to it, see it as a clean slate so that you don't have to repeat something that's been done before. Of course, the Aurora Borealis, which is going on, and we had basically a sunstorm a little bit this past week, and it's been throwing particles towards the Earth. So different parts of even the United States have been able to see it, and that's unusual. So for those of you that had good weather, we didn't last night. It was kind of a bummer in Los Angeles, but for those of you that did, and if you're in the northern part, please get out, enjoy it. Use your cameras. iPhones in particular are pretty decent at doing it if you do a long exposure. But anyway, this is basically a disruption in the atmosphere. It represents and it reminds us of the fact that we have that protective field around us. And I think as we're watching some of these things go on in the Aurora, or in the, I should say, the atmosphere, it's a reminder to look at what's going on in your auric field. Who are the people you're spending time with? What are the activities that you're doing? Are they enhancing, lifting up, or are they depleting? And it's basically a revelation sort of energy. So it's a chance to look, to see things for what they truly are, and to decide, does this serve me? Let's pull Paul up for a second, since he's digging at this. Yes. So anyway, this is a chance to really kind of evaluate all of that and decide what serves your highest good, what does not. Okay? Let's go on to the next message that I got. So in dreams, I was also feeling this sense of being driven, and then I realized actually I had to take the wheel. It was like for those of you that have ever done not driver's education, but like basically the training when you go into a car, there's sometimes two steering wheels and another brake so that someone else can take over. That's what I was feeling, like there was a co-pilot. So the first question I was thinking is, who's truly at the wheel? Where are we going? And then as I tried to hit the brake, I realized I couldn't hit the brake. So for some of you, we're going to take the word brake and look at the two different meanings. So there's the brake, B-R-A-K-E, which for some of you could just be a call to pump the brake a little bit, slow down. Also, you can take it at face value, where some of you may want to take a look at your own car and do some maintenance, etc. It's also a braking point, B-R-E-A-K, taking a break, making sure that you don't get into that like 10 of Swords energy of burnout. And then it's also a chance to look at control, because that's what the chariot also represents. So there may be someone that continues to want to take the wheel for you or from you, and this is a chance to really say, you know what, I want to do this, and you take that sort of authority and autonomy for yourself. But it was also connected, interestingly enough, to Aurora. I did not know she rode a chariot. I thought that was solely, the sun and the moon energy, but it makes sense if those were her siblings, Sol and Luna, that she would do it, or she would do it as well. So anyway, take a break so you're not pushed to the limit. I think that's the main thing we can all get behind this week. Make sure that you're doing that, and that's going to be key. All right. Finally, this was super specific and very granular, and sometimes the guides are just super clear on things like this. But I was looking at a document, and back in the day, my undergraduate is journalism. So I actually know copywriting, editing symbols. Like there are certain ways that you cross out letters and show, revisions. And that's what I was looking at, was old-fashioned, someone taking a pen and paper and kind of doing the copy editing marks on that. And it was assigned to revise, basically. And then I got specific messages like, be more inclusive, be more positive. So if you're, and I got an applicant sort of energy to it. So some of you may be looking to hire, or you may be realizing that you need assistance. Some of you may be job seeking. Whatever you've got in front of you, it could probably use one more revision. So if it's a resume, get someone that is good with wordsmithing, editing, and writing to take a look at that. If you're trying to put something out there, it could even be a dating profile, guys, but whatever you're trying to, however you're trying to advertise, something's missing in the mix, and there's a chance to enhance it and be more inclusive, make the energy of it more attractive and more positive. That was the main thing that I was getting from that, okay? This is also very important, like if you're submitting some sort of, it could be for schools too, and there's like an essay or something. One more revision, that's what I'm seeing on that. Now, once that's submitted, then I also got that you should be receiving good things should be coming your way, and you want to be discerning of that. So don't settle for the first thing if it's not what you want, or don't settle for something less than what you need, most importantly here. So, take it one step at a time here. The Ace of Swords is use your voice, revise, review, edit, and get someone else to take a look at it as well, okay? So each of those messages should kind of connect with one section of this audience. I know we're not all working, but this one is very specific to those that are working on a document. The previous one is really just about taking control, taking authority, and every day is a clean slate. That's one thing that I think we can all get behind. So those are the messages that came through. I was busy dreaming all night long, and I woke up this morning. I could even see myself doing the slides. I'm like, oh, they're done. And I woke up and they weren't done, but I knew what I needed to put on the slides. So it was kind of funny. I was working all night for you guys. All right, let's get into the 7-day forecast. We're going to be looking at a granular breakdown of the next 7 days. I think I'm going to use the Luna deck here for that. Let's see what's in store for you. All right. Welcome everybody, by the way. Good to see you. Let's close your eyes for a second. Just clear your mind of any sort of preconceptions or disruptions so that we are picking up on just the important details. Interesting. How funny is that? Ace of Swords and the Chariot. All right, so Tuesday is the day where the magic happens for some of you. Okay, let me just get these arranged so you can see them. Perfect. All right, let's get started with the energy of this Sunday. I mentioned that archway that's typically in the Ten of Pentacles. So how cool is that? They're right under the archway. And Aurora being the liminal space between ends and beginnings. And I was thinking of that, as I was talking, the closest thing I can think of, it's also in the Three of Pentacles. There's a few cards with arches, but this one I like because it shows completion. And for some of you, it's, are you ready to sort of surrender to the fact that something's done? And completeness or doneness can, sometimes it's just difficult to let go of the process of creating or working on something because it becomes habitual. It's something that we're used to. So I feel like some of you have graduated energetically, and it's just a matter of embracing that graduation. This can be familial or peer pressure because the Ten of Pentacles represents those sometimes contractual relationships in our life, the ones that we can't control. That's why it can sometimes be family, like soul contract. It can also be the the work relationships, and people will try to sometimes pull you into feeling obligated to do something. Feel free to say no to that. Ultimately, the Ten of Pentacles is a good card. It shows that you finished something, that you're ready for something bigger. It's a good card for resources. I get a little bit of hermiting energy with this, where you just want to pull back and figure out where you stand on things. So that's what I see. If you need help, support, resources, time, energy, etc., it's around you. It just requires communication of that need, of that desire. Pretty good card for Sunday. So I like what I see so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at the beginning of the work week, Monday. Interesting that we have lots of creative energy bookending Tuesday. So we have Pentacles here on Monday. We have Cups here on Tuesday. Let's look at Pentacles first. So Queen of Pentacles, Monday. This is a chance for you to really put your energy behind anything regarding finances, progress. This is also a card of the home. So if you want to do some cleaning of the house, some home improvement or developmental energy, that's fine. This is also like a card of birthing and creation. So anything you need to embark upon, this is a great day to do it. So it's good for business, it's good for self-care, it's good for developmental energy, and pretty much across the board, it's a power card. It's also really easy to connect with this because it's a welcoming, nurturing sort of card. So Queen of Wands can be a little bossy, we like her. Queen of Swords, she can talk a lot sometimes, and it's difficult to get a word in edgewise. But the Queen of Pentacles is just very kind, nurturing, and engaging. So you've got all of that going for you on Monday, and it's a good time to get what you want. She's good at convincing people. So definitely bring up matters of money and anything that you need to feel supported and grounded. It's a good day. We have two cards coming through for Tuesday, and these two basically connect to what I was talking about. The Chariot, very Aurora and very much sort of that driver's ed thing that I was picking up on, and then the Ace of Swords. The Chariot was the presenting energy. It is in the reverse state, and it connects with what I was saying. Who's driving? Is it time to take a break? What's going on? It's basically the universe asking you, do you like the path that you're on right now? And if you don't, what do you want to do about it? That's really all you have to look at. It's an internal audit. And it's also reminding you that you have more power and authority to change direction than you may give yourself credit for. You can turn the wheel around. You can go in any direction that you'd like. This is the moment to do so. So there you go. And how does that happen, you may say? Well, through this, the Ace of Swords, speaking up. It's an upright Ace of Swords. So all you have to do is communicate intention, desire, or interest sometimes, and that can open up a door of opportunity. This can also be the revisionary energy that we were talking about, and it looks like you're really in a good position. It just requires speaking up or speaking out. Some of you may be challenging authority too, and it doesn't have to be in a way that is combative. You can just say, is that what we agreed upon? Or help me understand that. Just kind of clarifying points to make sure that someone isn't missing something. Okay, this sets you up for success. I mean, so we see a lot of energy around resources coming in. Then we have control. Now we have happiness and maybe getting what you want here at the midweek. So Queen of Cups. This is the day to basically, if you need to set up a date or a meeting with someone, the Queen of Cups is so compatible with that. Very creative, very intuitive, very tuned in. So this is the day to basically connect. It's not so much the negotiating day, but it's like building a bridge, building connections, having some fun. And definitely if you're looking for love or want to focus a little bit more on relationships, this is your power day by far. People are looking at you and seeing what we see in this card, something to love, something to embrace. Definitely you can express yourself, and it's not so much the words you choose, it's the way in which you communicate them. So this is like, if you ever look at lyrics from a singer without their voice, sometimes it looks like weird poetry. It doesn't always, because lyrics don't always rhyme, or you don't know where you're going to start and stop it. It's the presentation, it's the singing that brings the power to the words. The words themselves don't have the same punch without it. So focus just on being yourself. Authenticity, passion, all of these things are going to really put you in a good light, and you don't have to try too hard. That's the other thing that I'm getting from this. There we go. Now we have just a card of universal love coming through on Thursday that's very specific to this deck. So the Agape card. The reason that I like it, and for those of you that don't like reversals, there's no reverse in this. It can be this way, you can still read it. It can be this way. It doesn't matter because love is all around and love begins within. So this is a day to really focus on loving and accepting yourself, surrounding yourself with people that have positivity, that are supportive of whatever it is that you want to do. And it's unconditional love. It's a heightened version of it. So the unconditional love does begin within, but it's also a good day to express love and support for others in your life. Saying thank you to someone that you may not always do that to, or picking up the phone and saying I love you to a family member that you haven't talked to in a while. Love attracts love. Love basically is a sort of, it's like a magnetic force. So put love into what you do, infuse it in your speech, surround yourself with people that you love. It's another great day for relationship building and teamwork. I mean, literally, you can see team energy on this. So for those of you that are working or need help on something, this is the day to gather forces around you, and you'll feel that support really helps bolster something up to the next level. Okay? Beautiful energy coming forth for that. Let's now move on to the end of the week. Queen of Swords. Wow. Well, we can definitely see Mother's Day energy coming through, right? Divine Feminine every other day of this week. Kind of lovely, lovely energy. So Queen of Swords, end of the week. I didn't talk about her too much on purpose when we were talking about the different queens. But she is definitely communicative. What I like about the Queen of Swords, though, is you know where you stand. In the upright position, she basically doesn't mince words. She'll get it across, but it's not too short. The timing is right. So I feel like as long as you are open to communication, the timing's just going to hit. Just say what you need to say and don't overthink it. Don't get in your headspace too much. She can also be connected to legal matters. So I looked at that revisionary thing in dreams. This could be the day to push back a contract, or maybe you receive the final version, and make sure you like what you see. And if you don't, get out that marker. You don't have to use copy editing symbols to make it perfect. Just circle it and say, we didn't talk about this, or fix this. So she's definitely good at editing and speaking up. Legal matters, this is the day to deal with it. And it's a card of action as well. So if not Friday, then when? This is basically the day that things should be wrapped up and finished, okay? Good card across the board. If you have anything that you have to present, like public speaking, and you really do want to make sure that you're being understood, she's better for that. So if we're looking at the different queens, this one is about communicating needs and desires around money and practical matters, and then taking care of yourself. This one is just expressive, and it's not about being perfect. It's just about connecting with people. If you need them to understand every single word, this one is the one to kind of connect with. But you got all three, so you can pick and choose which day you want to discuss things. I'm just laying it out there for you. It's a good week across the board. Now we get into the challenging, well, not challenging, opportunity cards, we'll put it. I think the only challenging card is a week from today. This one I actually like. So we have Six of Swords coming up for Saturday. A great day to take a trip. So if you're thinking of traveling, this is just the universe coming through saying, yeah, this is good. If you're looking at completing something, whatever revisions or whatever things you kind of communicate, it looks like you're sending it off or it's ready to be released into the world by next Saturday. And this is also a card of moving on. So for those of you that may be mourning or sort of wrapping your head around the movement or change of something, by the time 6 days have passed, it feels like you're very much in a mood to take that next step. Let me see if there's anything else. Typically in the traditional version of this, you would see one person steering the ship and at least one, if not two passengers. Sometimes one of those two passengers is a ghost, which is why this card can be about moving on. But with this one, clearly there's only one person steering and there's only one passenger. So this is about taking your lessons and moving forward, and you are steering the ship. So if you haven't communicated or decided to do something, the universe is pressing you one more time. It's saying Friday's a great day to take action, and Saturday is the day to see the sort of like fruitful energy from that. But if not, one more chance to take action. So please think about moving forward with whatever it is that you want to do. You've gotten a couple of pushes in a couple of areas where that can happen. And now as we take a look at Sunday, this is the only sort of challenging card I would say in this whole week. Yes, there's some movement on Tuesday, but it's mostly good. This one, you know, Five of Swords is what it is. It's basically the universe asking you to decide if it's worth worrying about something that someone said, or if it's even worth engaging with someone. So in the case of someone who kind of said something and like dropped the mic, what happens sometimes with this is they get a rise out of the reaction or knowing that this is going to bother you. So the best way that you can neutralize that is just not focus on it. Focus instead on, I mean, this is taking what you need from a situation and moving on. So I think you have a chance to avoid this by just distancing yourself. That's also Six of Swords. So if there's someone in your life who's emanating Five of Swords energy, which is a lack of sometimes a lack of accountability, a lack of listening skills, enjoying sometimes getting a rise out of you, it isn't worth your time. And if you have something that you want to say, but the energy has like a little bit of a bite to it, it's a backhanded compliment, or you feel that yourself, like this is just me arguing with someone, don't do it. This isn't the day to do it. Just walk away, focus on something else. So this is about putting your time and energy into better things and not letting people get under your skin. This can even be, now that we're in the day of social media, you know, a nasty comment or someone who sends you a text and it's just one little piece of salt on something that otherwise is perfect. So just let it go. Everything in perspective. That's the energy of that. So let's go ahead and look at highlights and challenges for this week, and then we'll move into the elemental forecast. Okay, so I think you have many highlights this week. It's almost like every other day is amazing. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you got 3 queens. So you can do whatever you want this week, really. Focus on resources, love, and action. That's what this is pulling forth. And happy Mother's Day. We got a lot of divine feminine. There's a lot of support. We see sometimes pressure from that sort of team around you, wanting you to do things, but remember that, you know, you don't have to do something you don't want to do, and it works in all directions. There's a lot of support, and all you have to do sometimes is push back or let them know that you're happy, because it seems like some of these people just want you to be safe, grounded, and happy. If you're looking for love, oh my gosh, lots of options this week. Or if you're looking for opportunities, lots of opportunities. Again, biggest challenge is not dragging your feet. It feels like Friday is the day that things need to be done. If not, things could get a little tricky on the weekend. On Sunday, really just focus on not giving in to people that, again, just have this desire to maybe push you or push your buttons, okay? So I'm going to put the cards here to the side. We're going to move on to the elemental forecast next. And basically, the elemental forecast is a chance for us to get a deeper dive into all the different signs. This is the only part that's going to be specific. So let me choose a deck for that. Okay. We'll give it a shuffle and see what's coming forth. Yeah, for those asking, this is the Luna version of the Ethereal Visions deck, and Dakota can put a link to my website where all of those are. Okay, so let's look at fire, earth, air, and water. We have an interesting week for water. Okay, let's start off with fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Pretty good. The Nine of Wands is a card that basically reminds people that you're a force to be reckoned with, that you're nobody's fool, that you have this ability to continue, you know, sort of pressing on even when others may not. Here's our traditional version of the card. In the traditional version, we see the one thing that you want to focus on this week, which is self-care. So you see that little bandage around the forehead there. You can basically push through any sort of situation, but there may be some mental fatigue. There may be some physical fatigue. You may even just have difficulty resetting And we mentioned the importance with Aurora of just having a mental reset, meditation, rest, just taking some time off. That would be really advantageous this week. The card was in reverse, so this can also be pushy people in your life as well. So if you're feeling that sense of being overwhelmed, this card is validating that, yeah, it's okay. You've been through a lot and you're a survivor. That's the one thing that I'd like to underline with this. Again, I feel like the traditional card's a little bit better at this. So if you are feeling that sense of, gosh, I've been through a lot, the universe says, yes, but you have what it takes to finish this, and you're going to show people that your perseverance, your persistence, your professional approach on this, that's what's going to help you stand apart from others. And people will look back on this moment like with respect, because not everybody could do that. Okay? Say no to people that are pushy in your life and take a break. All right? Take care of yourself this week. But you can also think of this as the 9 lives card. So you haven't had your swan song. You can get through this even if it feels overwhelming. All right? Pretty good energy. And it's fire for fire. We can see all the fiery skulls in this. You are not done yet. You've got plenty of time and energy in the tank. So stay strong, fire signs. Be persistent. Take care of yourself. Let's move from fire to earth. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Got the King of Cups energy. I like that this is sort of serpentine here. So this is showing flexibility. But the King of Cups in reverse is basically validating very similar here. So what we saw with the fire signs was mental fatigue for Earth. We're getting, for some of you, it could just be emotional fatigue. Like you've been carrying the weight emotionally of a lot of things in your life, maybe a lot of people in your life. Before you can open up to the abundance that this card wants to bring forth, you may need to lean on someone else. So maybe this is talking to a therapist. This could be expressing yourself creatively through art. This could be doing an activity that just helps you disconnect. Letting go a little bit is important this week. Very sensitive, very perceptive energy coming through with the King of Cups. It may be a little overwhelming. So remember, you don't have to digest it all in one big gulp. Just kind of take it bit by bit, and pretty soon, like, everything is going to come together when it comes to what you want to do next. But I think the important thing this week is emotional healing, mental, but we're looking more at sort of like the emotional side of that, health. So talking to other people, just letting go. Anything that you need to do for that, that's key. There could be new love coming into your life, or relationships could just be really front and center. Don't feel like you have to put everyone else first. I've had this come through a few times in the daily reads where, it's important. I think it was today's, right, where I was saying we had like hermit energy coming forth, where it was important to tune into yourself and take care of yourself, because that's going to set you up for success tomorrow and the rest of this week. Same thing with this King of Cups energy. Self-care is definitely something that has been coming forth quite a bit here. All right, so across the board, pretty good. A lot of creative energy this week. So if there's anything where you are trying to think your way through it, I see creative solutions as well. Let's go to the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I love that we're getting air for air here. King of Swords. This is the best card I could get for all of the air signs. This represents you. So you have this ability to, I love the wings on this. I think it might be a griffin or something, but you have the ability to see things take flight. So anything that you've been trying to put out there, planting seeds of intention, of possibility, we start to see them taking flight. King of Swords is really good because I feel like there's been a couple of challenging weeks for the King of Swords, for all the air signs. This is you landing on your feet and people wanting to hear what you have to say. Action is starting to happen. This is a nice partner to the Queen of Swords, which we got at the end of the week. So you have a really good Friday in store for you. This is a great time to speak up, to put things in writing, to sign contracts, to communicate whatever it is that you need. And you may meet a very like-minded energy as well. Like attracts like. Again, this could be signing on the dotted line. And just generally speaking, it feels like you have one of the easiest cards for me to look at this week. So things are improving. Things are on an uptick for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. That's pretty good. Spread your wings. That's when I'm looking at this card. Very rarely would we see a winged creature on the King of Swords here, unless I'm reading one of my like Wildwood Tarot decks. So freedom to express, freedom to explore, freedom to begin. Okay, let's move on to water signs. You have an interesting week ahead. So we have the Tower. Some of you may be a little bit more influenced by all of this electromagnetic disruption that we're having with the auroras, and it's helping you see something. This is a week to make change. You know, I don't fear the Tower, so when it comes through, it just represents an unavoidable or a necessary change. Typically, when a Tower moment comes, it's very visible. For each of you, it's going to be very apparent, right? So Towers can be good. So let's just remind people of what positive Towers can be. Graduation, commencement. I've been seeing a lot of that. I saw the silly commencement where they couldn't pronounce the names on TikTok and it made me laugh. But yeah, so commencement and graduation absolutely is a Tower moment. Getting married, getting divorced, having a baby, moving into your first apartment on your own, moving in with someone. All of those birthing, creating, and disruptive energies are the Tower, and they're good energies. They're a little bit discombobulating. So I think the most important thing for you if you're going through a positive Tower moment is to breathe and not get too far ahead of yourself. Just be present, enjoy it, drink it in for all of the change and movement that it is. That's why people, you see the gamut of emotions at funerals, at weddings, at graduations, because they're pivotal events. And I just mentioned the other side of the Tower, which can be change that you didn't expect, like a funeral, like something going on in the foundation of your house where you have to do construction. It's a good time for renovation and revision. Since I saw the editing energy, look at things like the brakes in your car, like, your roof, because this card is definitely connected to like roofs and foundations. Make sure that everything is as firm and stable as it needs to be. And if change is happening, it's happening, folks. Just ride the wave. I use another metaphor, which is surfing. So a surfer doesn't panic. They have fun. They try to ride the wave straight to the beach. So if you embrace it in the right way, you can land on your feet. Okay? So that's what I see. Necessary change, and maybe even an epiphany and a decision to do a wild turn. Not, like a 180 or a 90-degree thing way off the path that you're on. And so with that also, just take a minute or two and make sure that you've planned out how it's going to be. I'm glad that you had the epiphany. Also with the folks that got the King of Cups, which was what, Earth. Don't make any decisions when you're emotional. So this is both for Earth and for water. Give yourself a minute to clear it out, okay? But powerful, that's a powerful card, and it means that there can be impactful change, all right? So just destigmatizing there the Tower. It doesn't have to be an overwhelming card unless you want it to be. All right. Welcome, everybody. If you just joined, perfect timing. We're going to get into a special topic today, the Aurora, which is definitely inspired by what was going on in the environment. But Auroras, like we talked about mythologically speaking, she was the god of dawn or new day. So we're looking at new beginnings, okay? By the way, if you enjoy this and want to support the channel and stay involved, of course, you can like and subscribe. So thank you in advance for anybody that does that. I'm going to pick a couple of decks here, and we'll let them choose which ones want to be used for today. All right, let me just turn the camera down, and I'm going to choose 3 of my favorites. I feel like any of these will be great. So I just let the cards talk. 6 of Cups. Okay, this card just flew out. Ace of Wands. The Tower spoke, and so it is. All right. Folks, it's a week for change and action. For whatever reason, water signs, you're a little bit more tuned into this, but we can all access that. And lo and behold, we have a surfer on top of the tower. Can't make it up, guys, right? Okay. Ten of Swords, moving on. King of Cups, all right. Everybody's represented this week. Perfect, all right. Yeah, I like that tower too. I love that the squirrel has the nuts. They're basically prepared for change. You're ready for this. How's everybody doing? How are you feeling this week? I should have put that in the poll. Maybe I will in a second. Gosh, we have some powerful cards. Let's see which deck I use. Okay, this one. Okay, yeah, I'll do a poll maybe a little bit later, but let's focus on the flow right now of everything. We're going to get started first with the catalyst energy. And for the catalyst, we have, it's basically a hermit here, the cave, minus the hermit. So this is really inviting you to get out of your shell, but maybe today, just like I talked about when I pulled a daily card before we did the reading, the one that I got for Sunday was the hermit. And just to kind of echo that, because I know some of the people that watch the long form videos don't even know that I do a 1 minute short. So what I said in the hermit video was basically just to focus on taking care of yourself today, tuning into your own needs, your own desires, your own intentions, and knowing that once you've done that, you're prepared for the week ahead. So take a little bit of time to meditate, to wrap yourself up in a blanket and just feel safe. Cocoon. But then know that as the week continues, you're going to come out of that cocoon. We saw at least 3 emerging days where you're going to be front and center with all those queens on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's a good week ahead. It may also be time to clear your space. You know, looking at your house, is there enough light? Is the energy moving enough? I love caves, but they're kind of constricting and they're kind of, you know, the energy's not moving. So it might be a good time to open up the window, burn a little bit of incense, clean things out, really just kind of set things in a good energetic state. I do that at least once a week, sometimes a few days, depending on how many readings, you know, how many of these readings that I'm doing for all of you, because it can just be heavy otherwise if I don't. So there you go. Good week to get some cleaning done. Let me take a drink and then we're going to talk about this combination of cards. Okay. So smack dab at the center, we have a really cool tower energy. So I picked up on it when we were looking at the elemental forecast. Again, lots of empathy, I believe, to the water signs that had this the most. But you've got this. Let's just put it that way. So with the tower here, we see a little squirrel looking up at everything that's going on. But what I love about this is preparation. So for many of you, there's sort of like, this is another call to action. If you're not in the tower yet, it's coming. And so what this is saying for you is, if you know what it is that you need to change or do, just do it. This is the time. You have 7 days to begin the process. You don't have to finish it. It's just like, send the email, pick up the phone, begin the action, make the decision, and then start to lay the groundwork. Those little nuts are like pentacles storing away. And you know, he's saving those for a rainy day. And so get prepared for the necessary change. And then we have beautiful developmental butterflies coming through. Like I said, you have to come out of your cocoon this week. So take a day or two to prepare, then spread your wings. Things will be all right. It's a positive tower. I mentioned the metaphor of the surfer. I let the cards decide, and they wanted to show the illustration to really help you. So this is change, and this is riding the wave of change in the form of the 3 of Wands, which is basically synchronicity. what the Three of Wands represents is your ship coming in, whatever, literally we see ships on the shore. But in this particular illustration, the illustrator and author decided to make you the ship. You're the vehicle, you're the agent of change, which is what this really is. So make it happen, make the change, be the change, flow with the change. There we go. And so she's not passive either. I'm going to pull the traditional Three of Wands just for comparison. In the traditional Three of Wands, we see a person way atop the hill here looking at the ships coming in, but he's not doing much to meet them. They're a little bit off on the horizon. So she embodies both, and actually the third wand really is the, what do you call it? The surfboard. So she's not, she's going to make it. So if you don't see what you want, be what you want. This is entrepreneurial. If I've never really kind of broken it down so deeply. Oh, here's the other one there. But this is very entrepreneurial. So if you feel like you want to create something that doesn't exist, please do so. This is disruptive energy, but in business, disruptors can be very impactful. So like if there's an application or a service or a business type that doesn't exist, we see the ability here to fill the gap. Okay? Ultimately, Three of Wands tells me also whatever that tower brings about, you're going to land on your feet. Okay? But be looking and be look beyond the energy of the tower. Both of these cards illustrate that. And it's a very sunny card. So the crossing card modifies or explains the center card. This is putting a positive spin on the tower, just like I was trying to kind of convey when I read it for the elemental breakdown. Okay? Deep past, King of Swords. And what a beautiful King of Swords this is. We see multiple ways to do what you want to do. There's not just one way. So if one person says no, someone else is going to say yes, so there's a better path waiting for you. So the bat, the dragonfly, the owl, the falcon, all the different things that are on this card, they're representing multiple channels, multiple opportunities. And so if not this, then try that. So that tower means that if you're blocked or rejected, it's okay. It might even be better because this is positive, this is positive. And this is representing the different avenues of action because the King of Swords is not just about communicating, but also acting. So there's different things here. Speak it into being. Again, communicate what it is that you want and keep trying until somebody understands or resonates with your approach. One size does not fit all when it comes to communication. There's a reason that I do longer form and shorter form. Some people don't have time, don't have attention. So I try to break it down into 1 minute. But for the people that have time, there's a richer message here that can come through as we do all of these different readings. So when you're sending out a resume, when you're posting things online, when you're communicating, know your audience ultimately and adjust accordingly. Recent past. Someone may have said something or done something that hurt. We saw a little bit of that with the Five of Swords energy coming through, which is kind of around next Sunday. This is showing that it may hurt more than I was even picking up on in that card. And it's okay. Here's what we see, basically advice from the universe on this is it's okay to move on. You don't have to address, fix, or even acknowledge something that someone did if it hurt to that degree. Sometimes the best thing to do is just move on. And she's not taking the bait. In this deck, there's two versions. I bought it after she revised it, but the original one shows a person with a bunch of scars on them. But this one shows the person that avoided the situation altogether because there was drama around the Ten of Swords as originally illustrated in this deck. And I think the illustrator was like, I'm over that. It wasn't even what this was about. And so I even liked the way she addressed it in the illustration. So I think that it's important to just not let something get under your skin. And also, if you don't have a positive way to communicate something, let it go. This isn't the time to argue. You've got better things to do. And sometimes there's no winning an argument, right? With certain people, especially if it is the Five of Swords. It's just going to be crossfire, and we need to, sometimes the best path to peace is just moving on. And that could be the Tower thing here. This can also be burnout. So some of you have been working really, really hard and you're like, I'm done. I'm not getting the support that I need. I've communicated my needs. I'm going to look elsewhere. You've made up your mind. Good for you. Okay? Whatever it is, it's a positive change. Whoever or whatever is walking out of your life, or whatever you might need to walk away from, it's okay. You don't have to fix everything. You can have conversations. I've done this with both living and people that are in spirit, but like, if I can't have the communication with them in real time now, I just pause, meditate, and kind of send it up into the ethers. And I'm like, you can receive this at soul review because I'm done with this right now. This is how I felt. This is why I'm angry. We've tried. I got to move on. So they can take that lesson and soul review and hear it. And we don't have to have the communication. So know that cosmically, karmically, eventually it all plays out. So if you want to do that, you can do that. That's helped me more than once. You can have a communication with someone if they're not present. Just speak out loud, say what you need to say, and then move on. And sometimes it's less messy than having the face-to-face. All right, here's what this week is opening up to you. New partnership. 3 of Cups energy. We got 3 queens, right? So you might have 3 opportunities, 3 partners. You just have a chance to make some great connections. Even the 10 of Pentacles is a really good card for professional networking. The 3 of Cups encourages you just to take it like a step at a time and not be too pushy. This, if you're dating, is just about like dipping your foot back into the pool of dating. But when it's anything, it's just a sampling card. It's engaging and testing and tasting and figuring out, how does this resonate? You don't want to get too pushy with the 3 of Cups with that respect, but have some fun, get out there. You have a really good chance of meeting someone this week, okay? And it could be a lot of fun. This is a card of celebration. The only thing that's kind of odd with this, I mean, normally I would interpret it if it was reversed this way, but there may be a group or a series of people that just, they're exclusive. Remember I said back at the beginning, be inclusive. I'll bring the card up for a second. If there's someone out there that's like, well, we don't, it's like the Mean Girls table. We don't like you because of this or blah, blah, blah. It's not worth it. Let me see. Here we go. So I believe it was on this card. And let's see. Specifically, it was the 4th bullet. Specifically, the guide said, make the language more inclusive, positive, and welcoming. So this is the antithesis of inclusive because they can't see you or they don't want to see you. So sorry, I got to move this because I can't see you. All right. So yeah, if somebody doesn't welcome you in, forget about it. All right. Because we have the King of Cups here, there's a more welcoming energy as well. Any sort of rejection this week is for your benefit. So replay this if you go through a moment where you're like, I don't feel good. But I want it. That's okay. There's better things waiting, like much better things here. Near future, environment, and hopes, fears, and possibilities. We have love. We have money or opportunity. We have friendship and stability. I'll take all of that over some of the other stuff, over the 10 of Swords or the Tower or the 3 of Cups that isn't including you. All right. This King of Cups is one of my favorites because we have a sea star or starfish on this particular illustration, which represents regrowth, rebirth, healing. Why? Because depending on where a sea star might lose one of its appendages, it can usually grow it back, as long as it's not too far into the center. In fact, some even split right down the center and can clone themselves. So if you've lost something, if you've taken a hit in any way, this is showing rebounding energy. What is he doing right here? He's tuning in. He's playing the singing bowl. He's rising up above the water. He's in control of things. He's letting his emotions guide him, but not control him. And the metaphor of the driver's education car where the other person has the wheel, he's eventually going to take the wheel when he's ready and not have that other person try to kind of like steer him in a different direction. It's a great energy here, bringing in love. So now let's tune into what it's about. What's the new dawn? What's the new opportunity? Creative expression and love, because this is the first future-facing card. And also finding people that are, remember we had agape coming through too, unconditionally supportive or accepting of you as well. He's going to tune out the people that aren't in that sort of unconditional love, and he's going to connect with the people that are. We have a nice Piscean energy coming through too, so there may be a Pisces coming into your life as well. All right. How are you showing up? Slowly and very carefully healing and moving on. So the Seven of Pentacles can represent, we talked about new starts or new dawns. That's what we have here. Someone took a cutting from a plant, put it in the ground, and we see it slowly growing. So remember, it's not like Jack and the Beanstalk. Things don't grow overnight, typically. The key to success is brick by brick, rung by rung, day by day. And this is validating the hard work that you've started or that you've already put into something. And the next thing that we would get on this is Eight of Pentacles, which is, starting to really learn and develop. And we see more abundance with that. So just don't rush and don't overextend. That's the main message for you this particular 7-day period, okay? And be patient, because even with the card in the upright position, sometimes there's a little bit of impatience. This is the environment, and it's a good card to come in the environment because someone may be putting an offer on the table. Pages communicate, and this is communicating opportunity. You could also be asking for something or presenting something because like attracts like, and sometimes I'm looking at you with the environment. But what I see here, though, for those of you that are seeking an open door, an open opportunity, is just that. Pages write things down too. So this is the application. I mean, it's all about like an ace card requires action. It's the promise of something or the potential of something. This is taking the action and putting pen to paper. Really make sure that you talk this week about finances, resources, time, energy, things that you need, things that you want. You have a good chance of receiving those because it came through in the environment. So the other opportunity this week that we see is additional resources or opportunities coming forth. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have friendship, love, good stability coming through after things have been upended. So this is, taking a building down. This is building a new foundation. The Four of Wands, typically would just be focusing on the Four of Wands, and in the background we usually see a couple. In some decks you don't see anybody, you just see the stage that is set for the new partnership to come in. Here we actually see a couple of people connecting. When Four of Wands energy enters your life, it's a bestie sort of energy. So if I'm looking for partnership, I would love to see Six of Cups or Four of Wands, because that's like friends and lovers and stability. This can be marriage, or for those of you that, like, if I'm looking at those that are trying to find work, if you've been freelancing, someone says, I want to commit to you, and they give you like a full-time contract. There is a contractual vibe to this, and we had a contractual card right underneath it. So it is a good week to find a firmer foundation. For those of you that feel like you're on unsteady ground here, you can kind of bring up the desire to want something more stable. And in just those terms, it doesn't have to be an ultimatum. Just say, I'd like to see like a little bit more commitment here, okay? Then we have a card that represents contracts and getting what you need. So this Justice card reminds you that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say what you don't like. And in doing so, you find the peace, the calm, etc. There's two sides to every story. This is also about making sure that you hear the other side. And then at the end of the day, make up your mind here. The Justice card is a decision at hand. Judgment, typically the decision has been delivered. Justice, you're weighing the options. So some of you might need to hear another perspective and get another piece of advice. And it's also just allowing you to have that moment of thinking, what about this? What about that? So I see the sort of wheels turning in the head. You may need a day or two to get to that decision, but ultimately justice is in the upright position. So justice is served. It feels like you're going to find a better balance in your life this week. And what's not to like about that? All right. So we're going to move into the expanded forecast next. This is health, wealth, love, and destiny. I'm going to take a drink first. All right. Beginning first with the messages of health, which are mind, body, and spirit. We have the eternal child coming through. It was kind of on its side here. So as we're looking at this card on the side, some of you, maybe it's almost like trying to learn how to crawl, learn how to walk. You have to, it's the interim step. So we're back into the liminal space, aren't we? So the energy of health is, first of all, taking care of the inner child. So if you feel like you need or want something, raise your hand just like a kid would, like figuratively speaking, but communicate what it is that you need. Remember that there are different ways to ask for that. And ultimately, the King of Cups. Isn't it interesting? We had divine feminine before, now we're getting divine masculine. So the feminine taking care of yourself, tuning in, the masculine taking the action and making sure that you get it. So that's what we're getting here with that eternal child. On the side, again, I'm getting either a sleeping baby or a baby that's learning how to walk. So taking those first steps, they're always a little messy. When it comes to your health, trying something new, starting something new, first steps, doesn't have to be perfect. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just take care of yourself, ultimately. Some of you are having a baby because of all the divine feminine energy that I got earlier. So also when that's happening, remember, it's important to take care of you. This even kind of reminds me of the birth canal and a baby getting ready to enter into the world. Rebirth, though, is a part of this too. So if you feel like you're in uncharted territory, just like a baby, you may feel heightened sensitivity. You might be more prone to cry. You might be more irritable. A lot of the reasons that a baby does that is it doesn't have the communication ability just yet. So the only thing that it can do is cry. So use your voice. Speak up so that you can kind of like deal with the emotions. Let's specifically look at what's coming through in the general health spread here. Again, with an understanding that I'm looking at energy, and you'll work with a professional if you need anything in your physical body. Creating a new and sustainable schedule. And basically this could be sleep, wake, this could be exercise, this could be work. Something isn't optimal. Something is feeding into this. This is in the past, the recent past, but there's still a change that needs to be done. The change is for the better. So creating a new foundation, a new schedule, with less being more here, not feeling like you have to do everything, because this card reminds you of the importance. Right before it was a card of discernment. So same thing going on here. You want to do less, but do it better. Okay, what else is coming through? Not going to extremes, particularly when it comes to anything new that you're creating. So whether it's work, diet, exercise, this of course can just be drinking, anything recreational. We want to be mindful of less being more with that as well. Let's see here. This card is about when we're looking at the balance of your life and the balance of your how you're spending your time and also what you're putting into your body. There's a chance to just balance that out more. It feels like you might be prioritizing others first, maybe working through lunch, maybe not getting enough sleep. You need to continue to have a firm foundation so the healing and the movement can go in the right direction. And again, the theme this week is just overall balancing out. Nothing needs to sort of like rule. It's almost like a pie chart where you're just finding a way to have everything sit neatly there. And if you're having any issues with balance, of course, since I keep bringing it up, of course, talk to a doctor about that. Overall, the cards are pretty good. It feels like the change that needs to happen, it's front and center. So whatever your body wants you to see, you'll feel it, you'll know it. The one last thing that I'll talk about here is just making sure that if you are burned out, that you rest, you take a day off. This can be chronic pain or fatigue, or something that comes up from time to time. You want to deal with that first and foremost too. All right, let's move on to the energy of wealth. This is a pretty powerful card here. Soul Star activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. So in wealth, some of you are done with something, and this is a card of contracts. Just like the King or the Queen of Swords is a card of contracts. So you may be completely done with someone. They may have ended it. Maybe someone just said, I've had enough, and it's a breakup. Or maybe they hurt you in such a way that you're clear, lesson learned, done and dusted, we're not doing this anymore. So this card absolutely validates that. It's coming through in wealth. So this could be clarity that you deserve better than an experience with respect to, in a relationship, how much someone takes, or in a job, how demanding something is. Because this can hit in both areas. Don't lose track of you. This is your chance to get back into that authenticity of the soul and just be yourself. All right. We have a Merkaba at the top here, which is a card that is showing a chance to heal. It connects us with that King of Cups energy too, right? Because we have the sea star there. All right. Let's break it down into 3 major categories for wealth. So those who are working, those who are seeking employment, and then both students and retirees, because they find themselves in a liminal space. All right. For those that have a job, wow, there's a lot going on right now, right? As I said that, I felt it wasn't just in the solar plexus, it was off to the side. I have to look at the anatomy of the body, but it feels like it could be, maybe it's a liver, but it feels like some of you, it's processing the garbage at work. I mean, it can stress out organs. This should have come through in health, but it's coming through now. Toxification, that's what I'm getting. So sometimes just different organs will activate in the body. There's something toxic for some of you about what it is that where it is that you're working, who it is you're working with, or what it is that you're doing. And this is a chance to just let it go. So for those that need to detox, yes, please. Because if you don't get out of that energy, then it starts to go into, I'm getting like stomach and liver. I feel like it's my liver. I'll look it up later, but that's what I'm getting. Whether it's liver or kidneys, it's a little bit behind, and I don't like the feeling. So it's time to detox for sure. And you don't have to like immediately do something. This is about looking out on the horizon, sending out, a resume or an SOS, or speaking to someone else. Like if you want to stay, for those of you that want to stay, justice is served. So it's a matter of finding the right channel. And you might have 2 or 3 advocates. There are some people that don't want to listen. There are some people that may say something negative, but I see a lot of channels that are open. So exercise all channels that are available to you. Remember to revise. Don't send that initial email or text. Maybe don't send it at all. Just practice it and then eventually have a conversation with someone. I recently had to do this this past week when I was trying to get a refund on something. I'm like, my intuition said, don't send it. And I got a call back with a resolution because I didn't send it. And I said, yeah, I was just giving you time. And they had my back. And it was just sort of like, sometimes we push too much. So reach out, draft something up, get prepared, but you may not have to actually say it. You might actually be the final straw on something coming to a positive resolution. Let's look at it from a different perspective, and then I'll go into those that are job seeking. Some of you just came through a really difficult period. So you may have overcome an obstacle. You may have fought and won. And what we see now is a recalibration energy coming forth, restoration energy as well here. I think the main thing to focus on is making sure that you have enough for you, enough time, enough money, enough resources. There's still a little bit of that coming forth here. But ultimately, because of the hard work, because of the perseverance here, it looks like you've made some friends and some alliances which will serve you well. The main thing here, though, is don't burn yourself out. Don't engage in negative speech or gossip. It will get back to the person that you're talking about, and it won't be good. Don't do something that doesn't feel right. Stand up, push back, because that also will come to the light of day. So if there's something that's legitimately not correct, don't do it, and speak to someone who is your advocate, like HR or something. And take care of yourself. Years and years after now, it's almost been a decade. I was talking to some former coworkers. They're like, you've been gone that long? I said, yeah, 2015. So 9.5 years out of corporate work. I remember the pressure sometimes to just do or impress, or like they would expect you to stay. And I don't know why. I was younger and more naive. You would stay until like 10 o'clock at night working on a presentation for the boss. I couldn't and wouldn't do that now. There comes a point where it's like, I need help. We're done. This isn't possible to be done for tomorrow. You're asking for too much. So if you need to speak up, that comes with wisdom. There's a reason they use younger people for that kind of work, because they're afraid to speak up. So if you're in that energy of burnout, it's not worth it. I would change that about my past. I wouldn't have spent the time wasting on that. I would have taken care of myself, spent more time with family, gotten some rest and sleep, and taken care of my body. It's not worth it, okay? Take care of yourself. Focusing on those that are job seeking. There are, like for some of you, it feels like there's agitation, obviously. You want it to happen yesterday, now. That energy isn't conducive to manifestation. So I actually feel like it'd be really great to hang out with somebody to get a different perspective, to kind of like clear things out. Meditation is going to be really helpful. We saw multiple opportunities for things to come through this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We see at least one option here in the environment. The urgency needs to dissipate. I want it, I need it now. Breathe and set a different intention. Say, I'm ready to receive the optimal opportunity. I'm willing to wait, but it would be great if this happens sooner than later. And show me signs and signals. So I'm still looking for an apartment. But as I look for apartments and things like that, the same thing. I'm like, show me without a shadow of doubt what I need to see and when I find the right match. So you can do the same sort of thing in your job seeking capabilities here. Remember what I was talking about with revisions? The resume, the website, whatever it is that you're working on, there's a chance for it to be fine-tuned a little bit. What I want to see is, I want to understand what your vision is. So if there is sort of like an intro piece where you talk about who you are, that's really important. Then show it. So really make sure the samples, the job samples are amazing and the presentation is amazing. And if you are looking at something like LinkedIn, getting people's recommendations of you, that will also help quite a bit, because that shows really, and make sure that, like, if there's anyone that has a little bit more weight, like a managerial sort of review, that'll help you as well. I do think that you'll have an opportunity on the horizon here. When we look at timelines, pages go a little bit beyond the week. So does justice. It could be 10 or 11 days, because this can be a 1 or a 10. So just a little bit, like a week, week and a half. We're looking more at a week and a half. There might be some movement there. So take your time. And it's really about resetting this urgency and this self-defeat is sort of like, it's not happening, it will never happen. No, it can happen right now, but it's about letting go of the need to control it and really trusting that the universe is navigating you towards the optimal solution. Networking absolutely is key here. And if you can't, like, again, it might just be getting those references in a digital form on something like LinkedIn. Okay, resetting. We're going to look first at the students, many of whom are graduating right now. That's the positive tower that I talked about. And for many of you, I mean, it's a very sort of sunny horizon. This reminds me of Aurora, dawn, right? I think it's really important to make sure. Some of you got burned out. I know I was there after a lot of years of school, because I went to grad school, so it was like 6 or 7 years of school. You're burned out, plus 12 years before that. It's just sort of like you might need a break. You might need 3 months, 6 months before, a little bit of a gap between when you start your job. I think it's important to figure out who you are and what you want. So if you have the ability to take the break, great. Even if it's just a few weeks, take the break, because you'll have the rest of your life to work. I think this is also true of like a gap year or gap semester. I did a gap semester between undergraduate and grad school. I just needed half a year off. So I did it under the sort of umbrella of an internship, and I went to London to do it. But in retrospect, I realized I took half a gap year. I should have taken a full year and then just traveled Europe. I don't know why I was in a hurry to start graduate school. It didn't matter. And in retrospect, it would have been more fun if I just had a little bit more time to reset and figure myself out. So if you need the time, take the time. You don't get that very often in your life. So I actually think it would be great if does Canada do this? I know there are certain places where between like certain grades you get a year, or between graduating and going to college or university you get a year, or 6 months. Take that time, because that'll help you figure out, this is a card of traveling, who you are and what you want. And I definitely did through my internships and through traveling abroad. I'm like, I want this, I don't want this, I want to live here, I don't want to live here. it gave me some clarity. And I only wish I would have taken some more time, so I get a little bit of that. Definitely a time to look at financial aid and finances. I feel the crunch for you. This card is about making sure that you exercise. If you're just a new student looking at colleges, really apply to as many types of financial aid as possible, because there may be more there than you think. So send out as many as you can. Some of you want to pursue a career like in social justice or law, and this card is just validating that. Okay, for those that are retirees, this is your time to really relax and recalibrate, because for many of you, maybe it's difficult and overdue, this period of, like, this could be fresh retirement, or there's been a lot of pain and disruption recently, but I actually see a lot of more positivity here in the future. Do what you need to do to create balance in your life. It's not how many friends you have, and even when you're in the mid part of your life and career, you realize that the friendships wane a bit, and this is quality over quantity. And it's showing that at any age or stage you can make new friends. So whomever you connect with now, this could be someone who's with you for the next chapter. And it's a kind of ride or die energy, which I love. This can be a really close friend, a bestie. It's never too late to invest or create that. And retirement, especially if you find a like-minded individual, you're like, okay, great. Now I have an activity partner, someone that we can just talk about things to. So I see a new friendship kind of developing here. You could also be focusing on mentorship here with the page. So whether it's young or older, a new friendship emerging, and that's what I see. Lots of creative and communicative energy. You can do whatever you want with that. All right, let's move on to relationships before destiny. So love. We'll spend a little less time on this because there was a lot that I put into the previous one. So we have freedom and movement coming through for this. Move your body. Thank you, angels, for motivating me to move my body and energy. So flexibility, we're going to look at that first on a broad term when it comes to relationships. Some of you just need a little bit more room to breathe. Maybe you're on the move or moving in or out of a relationship, and this is just validating that and knowing that you're guided. Angelic cards include, like the Lovers is an angelic card, but so is Temperance. So take your time. That's the main thing that I get with that. All right, let me take another drink, and then we're going to focus on the 3 categories of love. Okay, for those currently in a relationship, major change. We saw that there could be actually, for health, and this connects to relationships, birthing. So you might be in a new relationship, and it's something that you're really focusing on creating something magical with. There could be pregnancy. There could be a decision to move in or move out. So major change, major movement, major development. Probably for the best, because we have the 3 of Wands on that. The important thing here is, who cares what other people think? That's actually like the main thing that I get with the 3 of Cups, because that is gossip, what people are, kind of like wanting you to do, etc., etc. We're actually going to tune that one out a little bit. If you're in a solid relationship, focus on the 2 of you. And we have 2 pretty good energies here. Super communicative, super sensitive. The super sensitive one may not always say what they need, though. So if you have someone that fills up all the airtime, speak. Let them know what you need to say. Some of you just had an argument or difficult conversation, or maybe processed a difficult loss. Could be a loss of a parent, a loved one, or a job. There's a little bit of disruption coming through here, but if you decide to stick it out, we have friendship, we have equal investment here, and we have healing. You can kind of go either direction that you want. The other partner needs to put in the work. So if you both put in the work, you tune out the naysayers, and you really are there for each other, you can have a great week. But if you're not listening, or if this argument or this sort of agitation point continues to fester, that creates lack of balance. So that definitely needs to be more communication this week, okay? Positive communication, inclusive communication, and don't send the first draft or say just what's on your mind. Get it formulated first and then communicate. By the way, it looks like there may be some parties or invitations or social engagements. Those could be fun. There also could be a sticking point with someone from the past that's coming back in, a friend or a loved one. And again, I just think it's about having a conversation around that. By and large, I like this diagonal deep past, near future, and outcome, because we see both of you showing up. We see the investment, we see balance. So just try to see both sides of the story and have an open communication. You should be okay. If you're looking for love, it could happen quicker than you think. Like blink of an eye, snap of your fingers. But are you ready? The Ten of Swords in reverse can show that some of you are on the heels of healing or are just getting settled into something new. There may be a lot of travel or movement going on. The type of love that I see, we have like a water sign coming through. It's a non-committal, but not like no strings attached, not interested, but just sort of like, hey, I just want to see how this feels. You and or your partner may have had a lot that you were dealing with, and you're like, I like this temporary, this experiential sort of thing. So just take it a day at a time, a step at a time. This could be something that sticks around, but for now, it might just be a rebound or a friend. Maybe go on a date. This is typically a connection card, but if you want more, it could end up just being a connection here. We get someone that may be commitment reluctant because they're in the process of a divorce or just recently separated. So that's what I'm getting here, is a temporary nature, but a really positive nature at that, okay? For those of you that are happily single, and by the way, just because I say happily single doesn't mean that the other energies aren't happily anything. It's just like sometimes single people get singled out as like you need something. I'm just saying these people are cool with their path. So if you're happily single, here's where you can focus your energy. Definitely making new friends. A really good time also to express yourself creatively and intuitively. And by the way, it feels like you're going to get some movement when it comes to work and resources. So making new friends, finishing a project, delivering that project, getting things out there. All right, that was faster. That was good. All right, I think I touched on everything for relationships. Let's look at destiny now. So you're on the path to success here. It says secret spring success. Why are these cards so alliterative? If you say it too fast, you can't say it. Success being the main thing here. 6 of Wands energy, but in reverse. So don't do something for the express purpose of validation because it's quote unquote successful or expected. Do what you want and know that by doing that, you'll find your own sort of version of success. Don't let other people's pressure or goals or aspirations push you in a path that doesn't feel right for you. Okay? There you go. Let's go ahead now, and I'm just going to intuitively look at this. We're going to look at new opportunities first. We're going to do a big idea, but I'm going to kind of tune into a couple of questions here. So the first of the 2 big idea cards should be on new opportunities. And because we got the Tower, just what is this about? What's the change? So we'll start off with new opportunities, and let's look at the necessary change. All right. For new opportunities, we have the 5 of Wands. So this is an interesting card to come through for new opportunities because it's saying that teamwork makes the dream work here. Because we actually see people that could be working a little bit more together to bolster each other up to get to that next level, but they're still kind of pushing and pulling and tugging in different directions. So the key to success is to find a place where competition isn't the core sort of thing. You may need to step into more of a leadership opportunity or role in order to facilitate that. So if you want to be a leader, now's the time to do it. If you're looking at things that don't serve you, it's probably the competitive things right now where it's just everybody clamoring to get attention. So if there's a job, an extracurricular thing, or a family sort of group where it's constantly like this competitive vibe or pushy energy, or if you're putting in all the work and not getting anything back and it's just exhausting, that's the universe saying it's okay. It's okay to walk in a new path or a new direction. The second piece was, what's the Tower bringing in? Opportunity. You stayed longer than you needed to in something, and these 2 kind of tie together. And now it's your chance to say, All right, let's pick up the pieces here and let's try something new. Planting a seed of intention. That's what the Tower is inviting you to do. And if I look back on my life at Tower moments, most of them were for the better, and helped me get on to a different path. There were times where I was at jobs where there was layoffs, or I got burned out and I quit, or there were friendships that died, or relationships that just kind of died out. And the energy and the perspective and the sort of renewal that I got was like, after that, I thought, well, now I can put my energy here. I'm no longer wasting it in something that is just like vampiric. So I feel like stepping away or releasing something gives you that Ace of Pentacles energy that will be fruitful. We see almost immediately new roots forming from that. Okay? Let's get ready for the final portion of this reading. There are a couple of pieces here that we're going to look at. We're going to do a meditation first, and that's going to help us tune into some of the opportunities. And then we're going to focus on a final question. And I'm sure there's things that you're dealing with where you might need a little validation on that. Do me a favor, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, you're brand new, please subscribe. If you've subscribed a long time but you haven't opted into notifications, do that. And you can also give me a follow on social media. You can do that after we're finished the video, because I don't want you to click out just yet. All right, so close your eyes if you will, and just take a deep breath, tuning into your body first and foremost. Just like I was feeling some energetic blocks when we were looking at like career and other things, as you breathe, just pay attention to any subtle discomfort, pain, or energy that pops up. Don't judge it, just pay attention to it. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Let go of some of that discomfort with each exhalation that you take. And on the next inhale, I want you to imagine that you're seeing the dawn of a new day. So perhaps imagine yourself at the top of a hill, like we saw on the Three of Wands. And because we have a little bit of this Aurora Borealis energy coming through, maybe you can still see the northern lights on the horizon, but starting to fade away because there's a beautiful new pinkish yellow light as the new dawn of a new day is breaking. Using that energy of the Ace of Pentacles, imagine that this kind of looks like an offering to me. I'd love you to offer something up to the new day. Start off with gratitude, something that you're grateful to let go of, something that you're grateful to have experienced, and say thanks to the universe. Feel that your heart is opening as you offer this, whatever it is that you're offering to the universe. And now with the next exhale, put your hands on your heart and imagine that there's something here that you really desire, wish, or would love to see come forth. Now, directly coming out of your heart, see that beautiful energy, beautiful green globe, and offer that up to the rising sun, to Aurora, the Roman goddess of beginnings, and allow her to bring or breathe life into that new idea, which you're still holding on to. And now put that back into your heart space and know that it's going to start to come into being. We're going to now listen to the singing bowl for a couple of moments. Just feel that sense of reality that this is going to happen, and continue to breathe in the pinkish, yellowish light of the new day. One last breath, setting into motion your capability, thinking to yourself, I can do this, I will do this, I am doing this, whatever the goal, intention, or dream is. Gently open your eyes, and if there's one final question that you have, formulate that question in your mind. And let's take a look and see what Spirit has to say. I love that Apollo comes in when I do the singing bowl because he knows we're going to go on a walk afterwards. Okay. Focus on that question and let's see what's going on. All right, you received the Hanged Man in the reverse state. So one thing that we want to be mindful of with this is that patience is key, and that wherever you are in this moment in time, it's giving you insight and perspective. Again, this includes, for those of you that might be experiencing some sort of a setback or delay, you're exactly where you need to be. And it's about seeing what else there is out there. So the center card again, of course, was the Tower. And so this is saying, beyond this situation, if not this, then what? What else am I going to do? And when you start to set your mind on that energy, then you start to see signs and symbols and signals of how to get there. This card has also got a health component with it. Look at how she's grabbing onto her feet there. In more specific terms, it's about kind of like the Achilles tendon, the ankle, the connecting fibers between the leg and the foot. Just spend some extra care there and make sure that if your shoes are not supportive of the activity that you're doing, you have the right kind of footwear. If you have any pain, that you take care of yourself, avoid a twisted ankle, etc. Okay? The other energy source here is the sort of crown chakra. So some of you just might be dealing with a lot of thoughts and ideas. Make sure you record them, and there might be some insights there that will serve your higher good a little bit later. All right, let's take a couple moments just to say thanks to everybody. So let's see here, first of all. Okay, let me get into the membership tab. I'm going to welcome the newest members first, and I just want to say thanks. First of all, thank you to everybody that tuned in today. I do this every single Sunday, so if you enjoyed this, please show up. I'm here to help, and it's one of my favorite highlights of the week. Okay, so I'm going to welcome back or welcome for the first time the following members. It looks like we got some gifted ones, so I'll validate all of those folks in just a second here. But welcome to or welcome back to the following. Let's see. Sorosine? That's an interesting name, but welcome. Jane, Baranda, Jean, The Film Maven, R. Williams, J. Hartz, Regina, 62 and Sunny, Suzanne, Irene, Elaine, Kristen, Chan, Keenwolf, I think it is, Breezy, and West. Thank you, guys. Good to see some of you. I recognize the names from the past, so it's good to have you back here. Let me take a moment here to also say thanks to those that gifted memberships, and then we'll get to those that gave back with a super sticker. All right, so I don't know if I said hi to Kristen. It looked like you might have joined at the beginning, so welcome to you as well. Ann Walk, thank you so much for 6 months of membership. Let's see, Regina, you've been here for a long time. Welcome back. Let's see, member for 20 months, Melissa Russell, thank you so much for that support. Colette, gifting 5 memberships. Thanks for extending the love to the community. I appreciate that. Shelly, for your 5 months of membership, I just want to say thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed today's reading. A couple of other gifting members here. Carmen, gifting 5. Thank you so much. And also Raven, good to see you again, gifting 5 memberships. Okay, I think I caught everybody there. Now let's look at those that gave back with a super sticker or a super chat. Doing this, by the way, is great because it helps me do other things like my podcasts and other projects. So thank you. I put it all back into the channel or equipment, as you know. All right. Charlotte, Vanessa, Raven again. Thank you. Lucy, Duke, and Jackie. Thanks, guys, for your support there. Let me see if there's anything of note that I didn't mention. I think I caught everybody. I did. Okay, good. Thanks, everybody. So a reminder, if you're new to the channel, typically I do 3 video posts per week. This week I had to take one out of the mix because of Apollo, but it's usually Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Again, I encourage you to follow me on social media if you haven't already. That's a great way to know when I drop new content or if there's any news and updates. Remember, I don't offer private readings. There are occasionally some imposters. I got rid of 3 on TikTok. I have to file reports, but I always read the comments. There's also a form on my website. So if you ever see an imposter, let me know and I'll get to work. But remember, I don't do private readings or use direct messages. So if anybody offers you something online, it isn't me. Block and report. If you ever need sort of like official links, they're all on my website just for future reference. let me see. I think we've talked about everything. And again, typically it's 3 a week, plus I do daily card reads, plus live streams every Sunday. So there you go. Thanks, folks, for a lovely reading today. Let's pull Apollo up one more time since he was kind enough to rejoin us and is making a full recovery from his pancreatitis. I have to feed him special food and take some extra care. I think he just wanted some more love and attention. Thank you for all the kind wishes. He's going to get groomed this week because he's a little furry. Lots of love to all of you. Have a great week ahead. Good luck with the Tower energy. Remember, again, positive changes. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.